Heyo, and I would like to apologize for my voice in advance. I am coming down with something, whether it just be severe allergies, or maybe it's the flu again like last March. I'm recording this in March, by the way. But anywho, I know that the last couple videos have been kind of weird, like we went from the gel pens to the vlog, and now I'm jumping into something that isn't a gel pen. But it's something I've had lying around for about 3 months now, and it is these Hello Kitty marker. I live in a very boring town in the very far corner of a boring state. So when I heard that there was a Miniso opening 45 minutes away, of course I had to go in. My sister and I went in together, and I said I wasn't going to get anything, and then I ended up getting a blind bag that was like $5, and I got these. And the reason I got these is because I was looking at their other stationery and it was kind of expensive, but these 12-pack markers were $8, and I'm thinking 12 markers for Hello Kitty? Absolutely. I haven't opened this since I got it in January. I haven't done anything besides peek at the colors at the bottom, and it looks like a decent assortment. Like there's actually a teal and 2 kinds of blues and a brown, but I don't know if these are water-based, watercolor, alcohol markers. I'm gonna figure I can swatch them real quick and we can get on with an Hello Kitty themed artwork or something, because I already kind of have an idea of what I want, and if these colors are how I expect them to be, then it's gonna work out perfectly. So I'm gonna do a quick swatch. It might be alcohol based. I'm gonna do a quick swatch real quick just on some scrap paper, and then I'll do a proper swatch on a better paper, and we'll see from there. Okay, so swatching them both on this scratch pad and this cardstock, they are water-based. They have some nice colors. They're not too vibrant. This one looks neon on camera. It is not that bright. Also, that one's not really showing up well either, but it's kind of muted. But what I like about these is that they have the chisel, which is, you know, a staple. But they also have these, I don't know if you can see the divots. If I do it over the white, you can. You can see the divot. And it's meant for your fingers. Like, I have this bump on my middle finger from holding the pen too hard. This divot is for holding it like this. It's brilliant. And it's like this semi-tip, like it's there, but not really. It acts like a brush nib, but it's more stable, like a bullet. It's really nice. I just have to do a couple more color tests with like blending to get this character to look right. I think I have something I can work with here. So we'll just go right into that. Hey, so I just wanted to start this voiceover off by saying I did end up coming down with something. I got a nasty case of postnasal that turned into a 3-day-long borderline laryngitis, and I'm just coming off of it. This is the second day I'm able to talk, because I've been silent for the past 3 days. It's been obnoxious. But that's why my voice sounds like that still. But we're doing better, so I decided to get this voiceover over with. But I started off by wanting to say that just because these markers are water-based does not mean they're bad. Plenty of water-based markers are perfectly fine. Hello, Lydia. And Zapdos, hello. I know that there's Ohuhu markers that are water-based. I use water-based markers. Ow! She just put her claw in my leg. She just jumped up on my desk. Okay, great. Anyway, I use Crayola water-based markers in my sketchbook and other brands of water-based markers. They're not bad, you just have to know how to use them, so this was not a curveball for me. Get away from my breakfast. And plus, these markers, as I said, have a little bit of like a brush tip on the tip. They're bullet, but they're like this brush, but they're not really a brush, so they go down very, very smooth, which made them a lot easier to work with. And going into this, I knew that I wanted Vincent to be the star of this, because 1, duh, it's Vincent. I love Vincent. And 2, when I was doing my 2024 art wrap-up, I realized I did not draw Vincent as much as I would have liked to. Like, looking back at older years, I did a lot of Vincent, and now there's just not a lot of Vincent, so more Vincent, yay! And since they're Hello Kitty markers, I figured it would only be appropriate to do something Hello Kitty or Sanrio themed, so I decided to go with this Sanrio. Can you, like, stop rubbing your face all over my desk, child? This fucking cat, I swear to God. Are you done here? Okay, great. Anyway, I went with Sanrio because it's a Hello Kitty theme marker. So I decided to pick Kuromi because Kuromi, first of all, is my favorite Sanrio character. I don't care if it's basic. Can you fucking stop? And plus, when I was looking at my references for Kuromi, I found this gorgeous Kuromi ruffles and bow tie dress, and I was like, that's it. That's the dress I'm putting Vincent in. All the frills and the bows, they were just so cute. Too cute to not do anything with. So I picked that dress, put him in it, And I wanted this to be not more of like a standing thing. So I actually, when I started sketching, I had my paper on an angle so he would be more angled. And he came out a little like up and down the paper than I wanted, but there is still more of an angle to his pose, which is just supposed to be showing off the plush. And I just picked the Kuromi plush that was from Build-A-Bear, but I just made it a little bit darker, the darker purple, to match with the darker dress. And I think that worked out. I was just in a Build-A-Bear, so I just saw that Kuromi plush. So that's also may of why I had that Kuromi idea stuck in my head. Now for the rest of it, I know I wanted it to be simple background, nothing too complicated. And I wanted him and then the median background to be line arted, and then the background, I guess, blah blah, to have no line art. And I had this reference photo of Kuromi in like a maid style dress with this lacy background, so I went with that as inspiration. And there was no lines on the back pieces, so that was that inspiration. So that's why there's gonna be no background for a while. But we finally got onto coloring, and I had to start coloring, well, first of all, by checking on my swatches, and I had a test paper underneath because I was layering different colors to see what I can get where as I was working on this. And I noticed that that purple marker was probably my darkest hue next to black, like that wasn't a pure just a neutral color. She was swatting all my shit. Anyway, the purple marker really came in handy. I used it to shade the brown of his skin, so I ended up doing it like I put down a flat layer of the brown for his skin and then put the purple on top, and then went over the entire thing one more time with the brown to tone down the purple and to make his skin darker. And then I ended up doing the same on his hair, but since his hair is already darker, I colored his entire hair purple first, which looks so fucking cursed because Vincent would never dye his hair. Like, you would never catch this man dead with hair dye. So I went over it with the purple, and then I outlined it with the black, then went over it with 2 coats of brown, and that got his hair darker tones. And this is all color theory and layering and blending and experimenting just to get anything to get it right. And the way that the layering was working, I was freaking in love with it. I just think it looks so good. I'm so proud. There's only 12 markers in these sets, and 2 of them are blue. Technically, like 3 of them are blues. One's like a tealish color. You have 1 brown. Not really much for pastels, so you had to go creative with the shading. So I just went with like my basic water marker that I would do in my sketchbook with the cell shading, like what I did with Huevember. But what I also noticed with this is that the inks kind of overtake each other. And the best example of that is on his skin, you can actively see some of the purple shining through, which is whatever, that's fine. And also the darker parts on the dress. Now, I wanted the dress to be this black and purple, so the parts that are supposed to be black aren't actually black, they're like dark purple. And I did that by layering a whole layer of purple, and then I would map out my shadows or where the black would be with the black marker, then went over everything in red and then everything in teal, and it made a dark enough muted blackish purple to shade black. And on some portions you can see the red and the teal poking through. It's like the inks are fighting for what's going to be on top, even though they're water based, which, like, you know, you would assume they would just go right through. They layered on top of each other almost like alcohol markers, but they did chew up the paper. I did use a thicker paper for this because I knew they were going to chew up the paper. So that's where I was with that kind of blending, and it's only for like the teal and the red. Even the parts I made purple, I wanted to shade the purple, so I would put down a layer of purple, and then I would go over top of it with the blue to tone it down, shade off the areas I wanted to be darker with the purple again, and then dabbed on the lightest pink over top of the parts that weren't shaded. But some parts you can still see the pink and the purple shirt or blue shining through, which is not a big deal for me. It really is not. But let me tell you, this purple was fighting for its life by the end of this. It was aggressively trying to keep up, and I did use it a lot, sometimes double, triple layers. Kuromi's hood, hat, whatever, that was like triple layered purple. So yeah, this purple definitely got its use and definitely got its money worth out of it. And then, like, as I was coloring the bows, I noticed that the lighter colors tend to catch the line art ink. Like, I stole this from my brother's room because mine's packed away. The Kuretake, I can't even fucking read that. All I can read on there is Kuretake, Fudegokchi? I'm pronouncing that horribly. But I used that to line it, and it's supposed to be waterproof. But for some reason, with the pinks and the yellow, it would just catch and pull the ink and bleed. But it only did that with the light colors, never the dark ones. I don't know what was up with that. But if you avoided the line art or inks, they worked perfect. And that was going to be harder with the background because I wanted the background to be yellow and green. And not just because I barely used any yellow and green. I think the only yellow and green on here are his earrings, his wedding ring, and then the leaves on his hand tattoos, which were introduced in the band AU in my sketchbook, but, you know, made it to canon. So canon, Vincent has rose tattoos on his hands. Like, come on. It's hot, okay? But I wanted the green and the yellow to counteract the purple, the blue, the pink in the original, or the And I think the only color that didn't get any more spotlight was the red, but that's fine because you don't need a pop of red. I mean, you really need a little pop red. It works out. By that point, I was able to say I used all the markers in a way that you can point them out and say, hey, you use that. I just realized the only color that actually doesn't pop out is the orange. There is like no seeable orange in this, but that's fine. But I did cheat towards the end of this. My partner sent me a Christmas and anniversary box and Valentine's Day. And in that box, they had sent me an entire pack of Ohuhu art gel pens, because I have a gel pen problem, as we all know. But I used that to do the white highlights because my white gel pen's packed away and I can't find it. But oh well, it was just for highlights, so it doesn't really count. But this is the finished illustration. Vincent looks so good in a dress, as he always does. I'm also just really proud of the coloring and shading, considering I, first of all, only had 12 markers. And they were water-based, so I had to layer them differently. And they had almost no complementary colors. Even if they did, like the background of the blue, it's so contrasting. But you know what? I like it. I like the way it looks. So final thoughts on these markers. If you are ever in a Miniso and you see these and you're looking for a water-based marker to just doodle around with, these are perfect. If you love Hello Kitty and Hello Kitty-based markers, yeah, that's right. Water-based markers. Definitely recommend picking these up. Is the price point a little high for these? I would say yes. I feel like most of the price, or the price mostly comes from the fact that it is Hello Kitty. Oh, and right in the back of this, you can pick these up licensed by Alibaba. Probably get these on Alibaba for cheaper. Whatever. I picked them up for $8. I'll spare $8 for my first time in a Miniso. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week.